Welcome and thanks for joining us. My guest today is David Kushner, the Senior Vice President of Sales for Vion. Let's talk about federal cloud strategies. How have you seen them evolve over the past few years? Especially think in terms of procurement strategies, cost strategies, and that general need for agility.
Well, the agility is key. And we've seen that since over the last 18 months, we've been dealing with the pandemic and the requirement that our federal agencies went from being in their offices to being remote and being able to work from anywhere. And, MultiCloud really helped that capability. And it provided, frankly, we were successful in turning on a dime in being able to, be that agile, provide that access to those customers. And then if you go back to 5 years ago when cloud first began and that initiative, which frankly wasn't the panacea that everybody was hoping it would be, to now Cloud Smart, where it provided a great foundation for folks to really understand what belonged in the public cloud, what belonged in potentially a private cloud, colo, and really it made us shift looking at the public cloud as being a part of the overall IT strategy, along with private clouds and along with the as-a-service model, and being able to provide solutions from core to edge. And it also allowed agencies to diversify their operations, avoid having everything, all their data in one cloud or one platform. And what that did was, it allowed the balance of workloads to and security to be able to provide a good user experience. And it eliminated the impact on performance and the user experience by being able to have that diversification. So in short, it allowed agencies to spin up test dev environments quickly in the cloud, provide workloads at scale in the public cloud. But when those workloads or those apps were truly at scale, our as-a-service model or a as-a-service model will allow them to provide the right technology and infrastructure in the right place, whether it's in the public cloud for, let's say, your Outlook in email, to AI and machine learning applications that needed a lot more capacity, and doing the as-a-service model behind your firewall or in a private cloud, allowed them that flexibility.
All right, and you mentioned security as a big motivator for cloud deployments, and lately we've seen some pretty lurid and wide-ranging cyber attacks haven't affected government quite as much as private industry. Maybe it's only a matter of time. So cloud security strategies, what are you seeing the trends there now?
Well, I think security is at the forefront of every agency's mission. And frankly, it has to be, since President Biden signed the executive order in May to improve our cybersecurity posture. And what's interesting is not all of these cyber attacks have been really sophisticated. The Colonial Pipeline was really a hacker stole one password to a VPN that basically didn't have any multi-factor authentication to it, and voila, we were all running out of gas up and along the East Coast. The SolarWinds hack was another one that was somewhat unsophisticated. Malware was injected into an update, and they got through a command and control pathway. They were able to go and get to an external server and take control. And that affected not only commercial customers, but it also affected some very large federal agencies.
And it also, I think, probably accelerated that drive towards zero trust, which we have seen now in the executive order.
That is absolutely the next evolution of cybersecurity. Basically trusting no one on the network. Zero trust is really an ongoing and dynamic validation, if you will, of user identity and validity of what their actions are. What are they doing? They're inside, but what are they doing? And is it valid what they're doing? So, and really, it could be a data at rest, it could be a data in motion, but basically limiting the movement and internal access. The movement of users, where they're at, internal of my network, and what they're accessing, is all, needs to be that overarching zero trust strategy. And really, zero trust is ideally suited in the context of the kill chain, where you're ensuring that user is authentic, and the requests that they make for data or access to applications is always valid. The bottom line is it's a shift in mindset from in a transition strategy from what my existing architecture is and how do I protect that. And really, I have to look at each security segment of my environment and figure out whether it's a public cloud or a private cloud. How do I basically understand what I have today and go build on it very quickly?
And given what you've described, the multi-cloud hybrid environment, it's a new environment, but it's also a fairly complex one. So how do you think agencies should begin to approach the management and governance of this new environment?
Yeah, and the biggest challenge really is the control and governance across all of my clouds. Whether I am acting in or utilizing multiple public clouds, or I'm utilizing my private cloud. So it really comes down to understanding what my cloud sprawl is, where my users are, what does that security look like, do I have shadow IT out there, and really what I believe organizations and agencies need is that common platform that allows them to view everything that they're doing in any cloud that they're doing it in, and then incorporating that security. And a common platform allows a couple of things. Can I spin up 1,000 VMs? Am I allowed to? If I'm doing that, I need that type of governance for my agency. And it also is important to be able to have the integration into your service management platform. You can manage all of the infrastructure, manage any challenges that you have in the multiple public clouds or behind your firewall or even in a colo. And then that feeds into our cloud orchestration layer. So if we understand workloads that we need to throw out into the cloud very quickly, we can do so.
All right, let's have a few good examples. Any agencies actually good at doing all of this?
Yes, actually, there are. One of our largest customers is the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, where we provide a fully managed service, and we've been able to provide millions of dollars in cost avoidance for them by not only providing them dozens of different OEM manufacturers, but also providing them that managed service to take care of everything. So they're a great example of focusing on outcomes versus IT infrastructure. Another one is our USGS customer, where they signed on for a contract for, I believe it was 5 years, to enable the tech modernization that they knew they needed to accomplish. And what it also allowed them to do was allow all of the different disparate agencies under USGS, organizations under USGS, to consume the same way, consume technology in the same exact way, rather than going out, this organization buying one way and another organization buying another. And then lastly, I'll mention a relatively new contract that we won with the IRS. That one was also a fully managed service where they're focusing us to have end-to-end operational accountability and provide innovation to their modernization efforts with a wide range of technology as well.
All right, good. Well, I think they're going to start their audits with the letter K, so you better be careful now that they're really sharp and operationally improved here. And let's go to the lightning round. Top 3, 4 trends you see in 2022 for cloud.
Boy, I see more than that, but I'll give you the top 3 or 4. We're going to have to continue to support via multi-cloud and as a service hybrid work environment, the work from anywhere concept. Because as much as people are coming back, it probably isn't going to be 5 days a week. So we're going to have increased security for that work from anywhere customer. I think we're going to see the continued modernization of IT infrastructure and folks migrating to a multi-cloud strategy. I see obviously zero trust as the next evolution of cyber. And what I truly see is just agencies focusing on outcomes instead of infrastructure technology. So leaving that decision to organizations like us who know how to marry what that IT infrastructure and that effort equals business outcomes for them. So those are some of the trends I see. Trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, there's also another trend of, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and how you spin that up for, not an entire agency, but maybe a certain mission. And utilizing our as a service model so you can scale up, buy small and scale up as you need it, as the AI ML mission and whatever you're doing with that technology becomes larger. Our as a service model certainly helps them start small and scale as they need.
All right, you've given us a lot to think about.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'd like to thank today's guest. David Kushner is the Senior Vice President of Sales for Vion. I'm Tom Temin. You've been listening to Federal News Network. Let's go back to the studio now for more on the Cloud Exchange.